So today's topics are how to know when it's time to hire an assistant. So that's a big question. So I'm going to give you 4 main signs that it might be the right time. Job duties. We're going to talk about how do you define the role of the person that the job you're trying to fill. Okay. Creating that job description. And then really one of the most important things is how do you determine who is the right candidate? The difference between a good hire and a bad hire, can cost you a lot of money, time, effort. And so I want to help you really drill down to what can I do to have the best possible outcome in the person that I hire, right? And then ultimately getting to a point where you can document your systems and processes for your business. So you're really running your business like a business. And if you've got that all documented, if that assistant leaves and you've got to find somebody else, you can just drop them right into it because you've got all of this already documented. So I'm going to actually give you some examples of how to document some of the systems that you have and ultimately have an operations manual put together on your business. And then I'm going to give you some additional resources for at the very end. And I will send this out to you guys. So I kind of created it so it's all in one. All the resources and stuff are at the end, and you guys can utilize them as much as you want. Okay, so the first topic is when should I consider hiring an assistant? So number one, if you don't have time for prospecting, right? So if you find that a high percentage of your time is really spent servicing clients and you don't have enough time for prospecting, then that might be a sign that it's time to hire somebody to work on the details of your business and the client servicing activities in your business, right? So we want to move you to a place where your best and highest use is really bringing in the business, right? Is connecting with people, doing what you're really good at. So giving yourself time to do that is super important, and offloading the things that you don't necessarily need to do are important also. Okay. The second thing is a second sign. Are you losing leads? Do you have leads that are slipping through the cracks, right? Are people, you're finally calling them and they've already found a place, or, those are common things that you're not allocating enough time for your lead follow-up and that lead generation piece because we get so busy handling a lot of the other details. I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen, but you can't find leads because you've written them down on a little piece of paper. They fell in through the seats of your car, or they're on your desk somewhere and you can't find them. So, getting yourself organized that way would help also. So maybe you're feeling a little bit disorganized and, you're having a hard time just keeping it all together. That would be a sign. The third sign would be you feel that your customer service is suffering, right? If we rely on referrals for our business, then we have to give a consistent level of customer service, right? And so we want to put systems in place so that we have consistent experience and our client has a great experience with us and will refer us new business. So that's another sign. The last sign, are you feeling like you're ready to work on your business instead of always working in your business on the details? If you're maxed out on what you can accomplish alone and feel like you could really leverage the use of an assistant to make even more money and increase your production, then you might be ready. And really, you want to start moving into the CEO seat of your business and maybe taking that 30,000-foot view of where do I want to go? Where do I want to take my business? And that's going to be different for everyone. But really moving yourself out of the weeds and becoming the real rainmaker for your business. Okay. So as the CEO and rainmaker of your business, you have to go from thinking like an individual agent to thinking like a business owner. Like taking that 30,000-foot view, understanding, getting clear on where you want to go, and getting focused on your role. So even though we're talking today about how to hire an assistant, are you focused on your role as the CEO of your business? Are you focused on the numbers you need to hit, on appointments you need to hit, on conversion rates? How are you converting in those listing presentations? Are you getting 90% of them? If not, what's happening? What do you need to do to increase that conversion rate, right? All right, so any questions, comments on any of that? Makes sense? Okay, so let's talk about getting started and give you some actionable steps to take with you. First of all, start with your big why. Okay, why is hiring an assistant important to you? And I'm going to give you a couple examples of some clients that I've worked with in the past, and everyone is different. So that's what makes, I love what I do, because it makes it interesting to hear what people's motivations are behind hiring. So if I was to say one thing you should do is write this down. Why is hiring an assistant important to me? Because whatever your answer is really going to create the focus of what you want that person to do. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So just to give you a couple examples, many agents feel like, okay, well, I want to hire an assistant because I just can't do it all. I'm not consistent with my marketing. I sometimes have stuff going out. I sometimes don't. I'm not getting as much out of my farm as I'd hoped. I'm not getting as much out of my sphere of influence as I wanted to. And so I need to fill those gaps and have somebody work on it for me so that I'm consistently out there in front of the people who know me, right? I've had other people say, you know what? It's really important to me that I'm able to go on vacation and be able to step away a little bit from my business and have my business run while I'm away. And that's the driver behind why I want to hire an assistant. So when depending on the reason, depends on the type of person you're going to hire, right? So if that person who wants to be able to go on vacation and leave their business and have it run without them, they may need to hire somebody that's licensed, right? Somebody that could be a showing assistant as well. So the qualifications are different than the person who says, I just need somebody to really work on my marketing and make sure that it's consistently going out. So today I want to help you drill down to what are those job duties that will support my big why. Does that make sense? That's why I want you to start out with really understanding and getting clear on why hiring an assistant is important to you. So let me throw it out since you guys are here. Give me, tell me why, just the thought of hiring an assistant appeals to you.
I'm not very organized.
Yeah, okay. Not very organized. So somebody that can really help you to organize all of your systems, whether it's marketing, whether it's, yeah. So tell me more about that.
And just a lot of the little busy work. That's what I find myself doing. I think I set up about 3 or 4 marketing systems that are kind of like on autopilot, which I like, but it's still just like some of the busy work and following up on, the birthdays, the notes, some of those things.
Right. Yep. So, and having that consistency means that you're staying in touch, you're staying top of mind with people, and ultimately you're able to get more business from that by having that consistency, right? Yes. Anybody else? What draws you to wanting to have an assistant?
in your day-to-day activities, you can easily get caught up where you might have something planned to do that day, getting your farming together, sending out your note cards, but then all of a sudden you get that phone call that you've got to go pick up your child from school or go to a doctor's appointment or something that was unexpected. But the great thing about having that assistant is that those things will still get done regardless of the other outcomes that you have going on in your life, because your assistant's dedicated to specific oriented tasks that they're going to do, so that you remain consistent in your business and really having that structure in place.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because so much of especially when we get really busy, we react to the business, right? We're not really working proactively, but you're so busy that all you can do to stay afloat is be reactive to the business, right? Which isn't sustainable kind of over the long haul. And so, doesn't that even change your lifestyle to a certain degree, right? Is that an improvement of your lifestyle in real estate, that you are not having to, you're able to go and run and pick up your kids, or if there's an emergency or something like that, that your business is still running and you can do that while, you're on vacation and things like that. It continues to run. So I'd like, one of the big takeaways for you is to understand the big why it's important to you. And I think a lot of the rest of it will fall in line. Okay. So finding and hiring the right talent. There's an old truth. I like this. If you don't have an assistant, you are one. And I thought that was pretty telling. So let's talk about hiring. I think hiring is super, super important, that you take the time to find the right person. It's kind of like, when we are helping somebody find a renter for their home, right? They're going to lease their home out, and we are tasked to help them find somebody to rent the house or condo, whatever it is. In my experience with my own rental properties has been that if I take the time to find somebody, a really good tenant, then the rest is so much easier, right? I don't have problems along the way and all of that. So it is the same thing with hiring. Take your time to find the right person, right? The absolute right person for the job, even if it takes a little bit more time to find them. Find someone who can do the job and solve problems, right? And then there's a difference between good and great. And I saw this recently, and it resonated with me, because good is what? Possibly they can do their job, right? They can execute on these tasks. But what is great? Great might be they can problem solve. They can get things done without asking you for help. Leo, you probably, have had experience with hiring, and for you, does that resonate with you? The difference?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good and great?
I've had many assistants over the years, and one of the things that I usually say when I'm interviewing is if I have to show you how to do it, then I shouldn't have hired you, because now I'm essentially doing your job for you, and it's still taking up my time to do that. So I need somebody who can, like you said, problem solve, utilize the internet, GTS, Google that shit. And I utilize that a lot, because, we have the internet. So you could, as an assistant, they can learn quite a bit, really anything and everything that you're tasked with doing, you can find those things out. And so I need somebody that can problem solve and cut to the chase and get what I need done without a lot of input from myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else have any experience with that? Finding somebody that's good, they got the job done, but somebody great really helped you build and grow your business.
Yeah, I think I've had good experience with some people that have been, good additions. And I think Leo, one of the things he mentions there is, going above and beyond, right? The ability to be able to not only grasp what their job is, but want to learn and grow into more roles and do more tasks, which ultimately allows them to hopefully excel in the organization. So then they can teach their replacement.
Yes, really great. Thank you. Thank you. That was a great way to put it. Yeah, so if, I like this other old truth that if you don't have an assistant that can get the job done, you will eventually get the job back, which nobody wants that. So taking the time to find the right person is super important. So then the question becomes, how do I determine who is the right candidate for me? Should they be licensed? Do the job requirements that I've outlined, required them to just really have more administrative type of experience and they don't necessarily need to be licensed? Or is one of my priorities to be able to go away for the weekend and without my clients suffering, without my clients not being able to get into the homes that they want to see, my buyers, or being there for my sellers to market their home properly and be boots on the ground in town, right? So if that's something you're looking for, a showing assistant, somebody that could take on those roles, that maybe you do want somebody that's licensed. Should I hire someone local or a virtual assistant? So there are a lot of virtual assistant type companies that have people that specialize in real estate. Or do you want somebody that's boots on the ground? We always recommend that ideally it's great to have somebody local, somebody that can be in your office, somebody that can either work from home or be in the office, however you'd want to do it, but that somebody is local. What does their work experience look like? What is their personality style? Now, this is super important. I'm going to dive into this a little bit further. It is super important that you pick the right personality style for the job. Okay, and I'm gonna jump into that here in just a second. So step number one, and I think this is one of the great exercise and kind of an action item for you guys to take away after you determine your big why. Get a piece of paper out and have it with you. Have a notepad with you all day long, and log your time for 1 week. Monday, 9 to 10 o'clock, 10 to 11, whatever it is, and log your time and just write down what you do during those time blocks, okay? And then put a little next to it, an IP for income producing, IS for income servicing, and a little S for just stuff, okay? And after you do that for 1 week, go back and look at it and look at what of these things could I have delegated to somebody else, which would then open up my time to do money-making activities. Okay, so that's a great way to get a visual snapshot of 1 week to see where you're spending your time. Okay, all of the dollar generating activities are yours, and everything else needs to be assigned to someone else. Okay, so think of it that way, and then sit down and brainstorm on a piece of paper what you really need help with. Because I guarantee you, I don't like giving somebody, when I'm coaching somebody, I don't give them a list of things and go, okay, pick from this list of what you want help with. Write down first what you really feel you need help with, because that's going to be what's really important to you. Has anybody done a log and kind of jotted down what you do on a weekly basis? No, it really is eye-opening, and it's fun exercise. I know, exactly. But it definitely is an eye-opener and a great, easy, simple way to get a bird's eye view of what you're doing and maybe what you're not doing, not spending time at. Okay, so virtual assistant versus an in-person assistant. Once you get clear on what you need help with, it will become very clear on if you need somebody virtually. You could use somebody virtually, or you want somebody that are boots on the ground there to help you, right? So I have a couple agents who use virtual assistants, but they're really just to execute on their marketing plan. So they could be anywhere, doesn't matter. They could be anywhere, and they're just literally executing on the marketing plan that's put together. Other people want somebody to drop off pop buys. They want them to put together the pop buys, write handwritten note cards, things like that. things that maybe put a lockbox on a house, take a lockbox off, all of those kind of admin activities that you'd want somebody to be local. Now, one of the key things that I think we all, especially in real estate, is don't hire the first person who appears on your doorstep. A lot of times we'll find, oh, my friend, cousin Susie's looking for a job. She's going to be great at this, right? And just hire that person and think that they might be the perfect person. So be careful that they have the right personality style and expertise for the job. And there is a tool that can help you. And I know that we've talked about the DISC assessment and this could be a whole hour-long class in and of itself. But I want to give you a sense of what kind of person you're actually looking for. Okay. So we'll come back to this. So we'll go into the DISC assessment at the end. Sorry about that. So I will jump into that and talk about that and how important it is. There are 4 main areas of responsibility for real estate administrative assistants. So I'm going to give you a kind of a list of a lot of different things that an assistant can help you with. Again, it goes back to what are your priorities of what you want help with. And I have a complete list at the very end of this presentation. So when you guys get it sent to you, if you want the full list of everything under each of these categories, you guys will have it. Okay. So the 4 main areas of responsibilities that most realtors utilize when having an assistant is administrative support, a marketing manager, a listing manager, and a transaction coordinator. Okay, and most of us are using transaction coordinators now, but we'll talk about that. In terms of administrative support, they are there to help you create systems for your business from contract to close. Okay, and create systems that really enhance your client's experience and document those systems. And we'll talk about that in a second. And help you create consistency. Maybe sending out buyer packages, listing packages, like getting all that stuff together that takes so much time. They can help you work on updating your CRM. If you don't have a database that's completely put together and you need help with that, that's something that they can help you with. Event coordination, communication, bookkeeping, things like that. So a lot of different administrative support that you could offload onto somebody else. But I think that one of the biggest hurdles to overcome in real estate is marketing responsibilities and being consistent with that. Would you guys agree? Raise your hands. So, it's definitely one of the things that we all struggle with, to be consistent with this. So the marketing manager responsibilities are marketing content, social media and online advertising, collateral development, so property brochures, whatever that looks like. And I'll go into each one of these in detail. Audio, video, multimedia assistance. Marketing content. So let's break down each one. And like I said, I'll have a complete list at the end for you. I'll send it to you guys. Managing your marketing calendar, like having a marketing plan that you put together and somebody that's executing on that. Creating those systems to stay top of mind with the people that know you, people in your database. Event management and communication. Can they organize educational events? Organize your client appreciation events, create some mail announcement invitations. There's so many touches that you can have that will help you lead generate by just getting organized with this one thing. Okay. Collateral development, create flyers, direct mail pieces, online ads, help you really build that brand awareness in a consistent way. Okay, they can do the handwritten note cards, birthdays and anniversary cards, pop-by coordination. And I know a lot of you guys are doing Buffini, so there's, you know, a lot that goes into even executing on that plan, right? Administratively. Leo, do you tell me a little bit about how you utilize your assistants to help you execute on the marketing?
Well, just like the realtors in the office, you know, Deja is my assistant, so she assists with so many different things and topics, and a lot of what you currently have here, note cards, pop buys, picking up stuff, dropping off stuff, coordinating events, monthly mailers. I mean, you have to have those things in place in order for you to really be effective in what it is that you're doing. So yeah, and it could also be evolving. You could be developing new things and come up with strategies and marketing things. So luckily I've got somebody who is very creative, has all these different components in order for me to take advantage of that and utilize her experience and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, that's why, going back to what you were saying as far as hiring, why it's so important to hire that person, because a lot of agents make that mistake. And I've heard some in the office where, oh, well, my friend and my neighbor, and they need a job. And, you know, obviously I've gone through that where I've hired family. We all know that doesn't necessarily always work out the best. And, but I can tell you that since those components have been taken out, business has been a lot better. Things have gotten done. When you don't have family, you don't get into those arguments. So
yeah. So yep, a lot of lessons learned along the way.
yeah.
Let me stop here and let's talk about something I think that maybe some of us struggle with, which is to give up control of our business, some of these details of our business, giving up control and delegating that to somebody else. I know some of us struggle with that more than others, but it could be like, I just don't trust anybody to get that newsletter out. You know, I'm not sure if there's going to be a mistake on it, you know, a typo. Anybody have a fear of that's willing to share, fear of delegating to, it's definitely a real thing.
That's me. That's the one thing that is tough, because I just got a certain way. I got the from the start to finish of how a loan flows, and just nervous. Like I'm gonna have to. I would love an assistant, but I feel like it's gonna take me so much time to train them exactly the way I want things done. And right. I know that's not a good thing.
Yeah, right. And even to have like that process documented so that it's like literally following a menu, right? You're just gonna step 1, step 2, step 3. And I heard this analogy once. I guess it's not the greatest analogy, but it resonated with me. It's kind of like if you ever set up bill pay for your, you know, with your bank. It was a pain in the butt to set it up initially because it took time and I had to go through it. But in the end, it saved me so much time every other month that I was able to just send those bills out, get things done, and so forth. So sometimes it's taking a little step back to get those systems in place to make giant leaps forward. But it definitely, Matt, to your point, I think that there are in managing an assistant ways that you can feel comfortable that things are getting done. They're getting done to your satisfaction and high level of customer service. That comes in the management portion of managing an assistant. So thanks for chiming in there. All right, to go on with some of the other tasks with regards to marketing that somebody might be able to help you with. Social media and video, et cetera. Updating your social media platforms allows you to, you know, reach a broader audience, maybe create some online ads or landing pages as necessary. For us to do our own graphic design and all of that, oh my God, it can take so much time. And is that really your best and highest use of time? Absolutely not, right? Perform video editing. John, if you're still on, I can't see you, but I know you do a lot of video. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've learned over time in terms of helping with video editing or any other thing in executing some of that marketing?
Yeah, well, I would say, part of what Matt had shared too is I think you have to kind of train yourself to be able to trust other people to do certain things, right? So from that perspective, I know I don't have the skills, but I know what I've seen and saw that I liked, and give them direction on how to, follow that method, right? Whether it be, and there's a lot of great resources out there, especially when it comes to the video space, right? The advertising space, the Fivers of the world or stuff like that. There's a lot of, discount places that you can find stuff for pretty cheap, give them some direction. You're going to go through an iteration process where they're going to send you some versions you like, and you kind of just work through it because you have a clear vision of where you want to land. Personally, as I've grown, I've been able to then take that in-house, right? Where I have somebody that wears multiple hats, does multiple roles, including that editing, but they play other marketing and advertising, because as you mentioned, we were able to kind of identify what the roles are they were going to play, give them a job description, and work through those tasks, right? Whether it be the thank you card to the video advertising, right? Kind of spanning that whole marketing piece.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. So yeah, and it may be just a very small a job description of something, a very narrow focused job description that you're looking for. I have a coaching client who really wanted to really increase her social media presence, and does a lot of video, does a lot of on social media, but doesn't have time to do it. So she hired an assistant that was really her primary focus was to run her social media and be very, very dominant on social media. So really, again, it goes back to, what's most important to you and your business initially. So again, the main reason here for the marketing piece is consistency in your branding and staying top of mind with the people who know you. Another role is the listing manager. What can they do to help you guys with prepping for a listing appointment? Maybe sending out a pre-listing package, a package for you to take to your listing appointment. How much time would that save you to do other things? Maybe closing task appointments, manage paperwork and deadlines, client and vendor communication, all of those things. And then create and document those from contract to close, right? Transaction coordinator, here's one that, if you had somebody that was licensed who, wanted to do the transaction coordination, you could have, instead of paying a transaction coordinator, you could have them do this as well. You could also have them order signs, up, down, lock boxes, property brochures, manage all your paperwork and deadlines, client and vendor communication, right? So, and if they're licensed, they can be a showing assistant.
Here's something on the showing assistant. I found this thing called Show-A-Me. Has anybody else heard of that? Okay, so it's basically having a showing agent. I've used it twice. You put the address in there, and a licensed agent will meet your client. So I had one person, they met the buyer out in Temecula or something, and then I had another one where they met the buyer in San Bernardino, and we actually, I'd gone out before, but the second time the person went, and we're under contract. So the time it would have taken me to drive out there, I paid the guy, I think it was $45, and then I tipped him 20. But we got it. So
Great.
Show-A-Me, I'll
Yeah, if you could send that.
Yeah,
That would be
can't
great.
even remember how I found it, but I was just thinking it had to have existed. And
Right.
it does.
And what's interesting is here in California, we haven't really used showing assistants that much, but in other parts of the country where you've got to do 30, 40, 50 transactions a year, they cannot run their business and make any money without having help. The prices of homes here, our commission checks are much bigger. We do not have to do the volume that they have to do, but we can learn a lot of lessons on how to leverage our time from people who have to do 40, 50 transactions a year to make the same amount of money that we're making, right? So using a showing assistant is one way to do that. And also, Jean, I don't know how you set it up with your client, but setting the expectations up with the client as to your role versus the showing assistant's role, right?
All I did was told them I have somebody that's going to meet them. I have one of my partners, and the whole deal is a lot of the people. I just put the link there in the comments.
Oh, thank you.
Their whole thing is have someone show your property and maintain your relationship. They're not there to steal your client. They're probably just a new agent starting out that needs to make a couple extra bucks.
Right. No, that's great.
Anyway,
That's great. So I think that there are ways of positioning the use of assistants and showing assistants, et cetera, by just setting those expectations. And we can actually maybe talk about that another time. I have a great script for it, which is, I don't ever want to be the reason you can't get in to see a home when you want to see a home. And so I have somebody that can show you the home this weekend, whatever that is. But I will be the one that negotiates any offers, et cetera. But they will be somebody that I will pay for to get you in to see that home. So setting that expectation up that you're still the main contact helps as well. So, all right. So let's talk about documenting.
oh yes.
Documenting. Okay. So one of your goals should be to create an operations manual for your real estate practice. Okay. The best possible way to get documented standards for your business is really to have the first person you hire start documenting the way you want to have things done. So your assistant can help you with this. It's not something you have to do. And document all of your systems from contract to close. And then also if there's checklists, if there's listing checklists or buyer checklists or whatever other kind of checklists, they can help you create those as well. All right, so just a sample kind of checklist for a client gift process would go something like this. The first one over there on the left, if the sales agent pays any of the transaction costs or other costs, send flowers only. So they get really detailed. Here's the process for ordering the flowers. You can, use this phrase. I think it's the congratulations on your purchase. It's the fifth or sixth one down. Congratulations on your purchase. We wish you much happiness in your new home, blah, blah, blah. So really kind of drill down to the details, because remember, if your assistant ends up moving on to another job, you can always bring somebody in and have them work through these systems because they're documented. In this case, they even go down to, if you look to the right, in the right column, it says, please note, even says gift wrap supplies are, and where they're located and the gift bags and all of that. So they really drill down to the exact details of where things are. And again, to going to Leo's point, you don't want to have to retrain them and all of that. Have them have some place to go first, and then maybe ask you questions as you move along. Something that's increasingly important to our business is making sure we get reviews at close of escrow, right? And so having a script that you have as part of your system is to ask for that review, but then you could have your assistant then send a quick email reminding them to write a review. Maybe it's got the link on it on where to write the review. And then you have them send out a little $5 or $10 Starbucks gift card as a thank you. So if they haven't done it, it kind of reminds them to do it. But those are some systems that you can put in place that that your assistant can follow. Any questions, comments about any of that? Okay. All right. So just to quickly review, define your big why, brainstorm on a piece of paper and write down what you feel you need help with. Log your time for 1 week and go back and look at what you did and see what could have been delegated. And then create that job description and then prioritize your tasks. Okay, this helps you get started on where to start training them if you prioritize that list of duties. Okay, and I would also add this, and I wanted to make sure that I mentioned this, that if you guys aren't at a place right now in this moment to hire an assistant, but it's kind of something in the back of your mind that you're thinking about, it would be really wise to go through this process and be clear on what it is you're looking for. So if that person presents themselves later on down the road, that you recognize that that might be a really good fit for your team. Okay, so it may not be an immediate need, but it could be something where you kind of just keep your eyes open and on the alert for somebody who might be perfect for this job. Okay, so really quickly, I want to talk about selecting the right candidate and hire slowly and carefully, like we talked before. How many of you have kind of know a little bit about the DISC assessment? Okay, Jean. All right, so a few of you do, so I want to go through it rather quickly. I know we've got about 10 minutes left. Understanding personality styles, and I'll tell you, this is the single most important thing that you could do is have them take the DISC assessment. If you just Google free DISC assessment, you can find it online and have them take it. And I want to help you right now to understand and how to determine who would be the right fit for an assistant and what their personality style looks like. So again, I could do a whole hour on this, but we'll just break it down really quickly. DISC is an acronym that stands for 4 main personality profiles. We are all a combination of all of these, but we have strengths in certain areas that are more dominant than others. So the D stands for dominance, I is for influence, S is for steadiness, and C is for cautious. So a quick overview of the personality styles. I'm not sure if any of you know what yours are, but the high D personality style, someone who's very dominant in the D, is very confident. They get results quickly. They're problem solvers. They're ready to jump in and make it happen. Does that sound familiar to anybody? The high I personality styles, very social. They tend to be more people. They do very well at connecting and building relationships. Okay, the high S tends to be a little bit more steady, stable, measured in what they do. And the high C personality style tends to be more analytical and can be very much a perfectionist. Definitely numbers people, you find engineers and people like that to be high C personality styles. So let's talk about the common personality styles of top producers. So let's talk about what you guys might find as part of your personality style. They tend to be extroverted, people, easy to connect with, personable, trustworthy, really has a driver personality, gets things done, can move quickly. They tend to lean towards being a little unorganized. Can be a little bit more reactive to the business than proactive. Can have leads slip through the cracks and maybe have inconsistent in their marketing. Their DISC profile would look something like this, where you have a higher D, high I is that people person. And the S and the C are a little bit lower, which is typically why top producing agents don't like to do the paperwork piece, right? It's like, you know, the paperwork, that is just not something that we're really good at. We like to offload that onto a transaction coordinator or somebody like that, where our strengths are really in our relationships that we have with people and our ability to get things done, right? So do you want to hire an administrative assistant with this personality profile? Probably not. Okay, so what personality profile do you want? Because this makes a great agent. Don't get me wrong, this makes a great agent, right? But this person needs to delegate some of the administrative tasks onto somebody else. Okay, so a common personality style of a good administrative assistant would be more of that high SC. They're detail oriented, they're organized, they're systematic, they're careful. If you want them to interact with your clients, you want them to have a little bit of a higher eye so that they're customer service oriented. But they also have excellent proofing skills, writing skills. Okay, so you can trust them to get it done. Their personality profile would look something like this. Okay, kind of the opposite of what I showed as the agent profile. Okay, so, and I know we're going through this relatively quick, but I will throw this out. If any of you decide to hire an assistant and want help with analyzing their DISC assessment, email it to me and I will help you with it. Okay, I look at these things every day and know them inside and out and can tell you without a doubt what strengths and weaknesses they'll have in about 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm happy to help you guys with that. Questions about any of that? Make sense? Okay. How much should I pay? So depending on their experience, it's about $18 to $20 an hour, which tends to be the norm, even with the virtual assistants. Okay. All right, so let me wrap this up by saying, take your time to find the right person for the job. Be in it for the long game. If that's not something you're going to do right now, get an idea of what you are looking for. Be aware of the people around you. Talent is everywhere. You never know when you may stumble upon somebody who has the right personality profile, experience, and what it takes, and might be a perfect fit for you guys. Okay, have them take the DISC, get clear on the job responsibilities, and let me go through the resources that I have for you guys. So at the end of this presentation that we'll send out is a checklist for hiring an assistant. That's a great checklist. I have the full list of administrative responsibilities broken down by listing manager, transaction coordinator, marketing director, administrative manager, and then virtual assistant resources. These are just a few. And that's what I have for you.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, any questions? Any questions that you guys have on this?
I'll say this real quick. Just to kind of get a little bit more educated, there's a great book out there. I may have mentioned it before. It's called E-Myth. It's by Michael Gerber. It's why a lot of small businesses fail. So essentially, every single one of you on this Zoom meeting today is running a small business in of it's yourself. So it's a great read. There's different versions of it, but highly recommend getting that.
Yep, absolutely. It's a great book. Great book. All right. I have a lot of resources available. And if anybody wants any, help with anything or have any questions, feel free to text me, email me, call me. I'm happy to help you out in any way I can. And we'll send this out to you guys so you have all these resources. And so thank you for being here. I'm excited to deliver some more training to you guys as the months go on, and we're going to really ramp up what we're doing at RE/MAX Terrasol. We'll announce a few things next month at our office meeting, but hoping to get you guys all involved, especially our affiliate partners want to get you guys more involved as well. So I'm excited. So thanks for being here. Have a great week.